Hello everyone, back into today's video. Going to have a look at the weather for next week's 10 days for today's video. This will take us to around the 22nd of July, so we're into the middle part of July with the, or into the second half of July with the updates now. So it's been very hot and dry through the first half of the summer. Looks like temperatures will be staying very warm over the week to 10 day period, but there are signs that the atmosphere is going to become more unstable, more volatile. And so we could well be looking at some very big showers or thunderstorms becoming pretty widespread as we go through into next week. So we may break the prolonged dry spell. It's going to stay warm. Temperatures will hold up, but we may well be about to break the prolonged dry spell with lots of heavy showers and storms to come. I'll talk you through everything that's going on very shortly. Just to say that if you would like to become a patron for Gazovids or a donor, you can please consider doing it via our Patreon page. So this is the Gazovids Patreon page. You can come here. I'll leave the link to the this page in the description box at YouTube. Link to it on all pages, Gazovids. Just come here and you can sign up with Patreon, and then you become a patron to give us a monthly donation over the period that you want to be signed up for. So that's like an ongoing monthly donation for anything from $1 a month. And then there's our paypal.me page for Gazovids. This is it. So you can just give us a one-off donation if you would like to do that via our paypal.me page. And a big thank you to everybody for becoming patrons or donors for Gazovids. It is helping us to pay for our website, so thanks very much for doing that. So we're just going to start off by having a look at what's happening in the Atlantic. So this yellow X just here is just an area of thunderstorms still continuing from the old Hurricane Beryl that died some time ago. Going up to the north, we have had Hurricane Chris off the eastern seaboard of America. That actually went up to a Category 2 hurricane for a few hours yesterday. It's now been downgraded to a post-tropical storm. So this is beginning to go downgrade to a storm. It will go post-tropical very shortly as it moves into the colder waters of the northern Atlantic. So it's lost its hurricane status now. It's down to a tropical storm, and shortly it will be going post-tropical. This is the track of what was Hurricane Chris. So you can see that just here is its current position. So just off the coast of America and Canada, really. It's going to carry on pushing northwards out into the Atlantic over the next few days. So by the time we get through to Sunday, and it may still have some post-tropical sort of origins going on then, but by the time you get through to Sunday, it's to the south of Iceland. And then very quickly be downgraded to a general area of low pressure. But long way north of that storm. And as I say, yesterday, despite how far north it is, it did actually go up to a Category 2 hurricane, which is quite unusual to say the least. So these are the 500 millibar high anomaly flowcharts from Penn State University for the next week to 10 days. We've got the E7WF here on the top, and the GFS, which I'll look at in a moment, is on the bottom. 500 millibars, 8,000 feet is an area in the absolute high pressure, low pressure. I've been moved around by a jet stream running above. Red translates high pressure and blue to low pressure. So these are mean flowcharts for the 7 to 10 day time frame. Takes us to around the 22nd of July, with above average heights up to the northeast and also in the middle of the Atlantic. Below average heights around Greenland and Iceland quite weakly, but the jet stream is coming through to some degree, doing something like that. So it's a little bit more unsettled compared to what we've had recently. Still quite warm. The air is still being drawn up from the south generally with that, but just a little bit more unsettled compared to what we've been used to. This is the GFS, and again, we find that we have the above average heights up to our northeast and in the middle of the Atlantic. It does actually have an area below average heights to our south around Biscay and Spain and Portugal. The Fleur Jet is doing something a bit like this. Overflow jet doing something a little bit like that. And so we're drawing up again the air from the south. So it is still warm, but with that low pressure cut off to the south, that could be providing the energy for some quite heavy showers and maybe some thunderstorms. GFS temperature and precipitation ensembles next. So looking at Guildford today. The red line here is a 30-year upper air temperature average for Guildford. We're starting off, well, it's close to average with the upper air temperature, but it's already starting to feel a bit warmer today. Over the next few days, temperatures will be rising. So as we get through to the weekend, it's going to be quite a hot weekend again. Temperatures going at least to 30 degrees, maybe even a little bit higher. Through to next week, the temperatures will stay quite close to, or maybe a little bit above average, but dropping down slightly compared to where they'll be over the weekend. I think the temperatures will be holding up generally on the warm to very warm side next week, particularly so for the south. But the main difference will be the precipitation. So over the next few days, there's not too many showers coming up. There might be some quite heavy and widespread thundery showers tomorrow. But really over next few days to the end of the weekend, reasonable amount of dry weather. But from Monday through to next week, it does look as though we've got increasing amounts of heavy showers and thunderstorms. So turning to quite a wet precipitation ensemble chart that through the course of next week. And then even into the final week of July, which is this period just here, it does look as though we have got some precipitation spikes coming through there. So as I said at the start of the video, it looks like the prolonged dry spell is going to break. Yes, temperatures will hold up okay, staying very warm to very warm next week, but it does look as though there will be more precipitation coming along for the rivers and for the gardens. So this is how the surface temperatures are looking for Guildford. So this is 30 degrees just there, 20 degrees is just there. Temperatures lifting up through into the weekend. So it's under 30 degrees for this ensemble chart, but actually in reality I think the temperature will be close to 30 degrees, maybe even a little bit above. Next week, those temperatures hold up quite well at a lower level compared to the weekend, but even so, holding up quite warm. So no real problems from a temperature perspective. It's going to be a warm week to 10 days coming up, even very warm. Over the weekend, it will be hot, just more in the way of precipitation coming through. Temperature anomalies from the 12th to 20th of July coming out warmer than average for the UK and for Ireland. Most parts of Europe are coming out warmer than average as well, so no real change there. But this is a little bit of a difference. A precipitation anomaly shows that we have a bit of a north-south split. So for Scotland and Northern Ireland, we're still coming out a little bit drier than average. But for England and Wales, we're actually coming out a little bit wetter than average. And that is indicative of heavy showers and thunderstorms breaking out, particularly across England and Wales through the course of next week. So let's have a look at the generic charts then. This is the GFS for Sunday, and we find that we're still under this ridge just about for England and Wales, but low pressure is out to the north and west of Scotland, close to Iceland. That is the remains of Hurricane Chris. It's trying to bring the jet stream in from the north and from the west too. We go through into Monday and we find that we've got this trough dropping down across the country. So Monday, Tuesday, the gradients are going quite flat, but there is an upper trough moving through, particularly England and Wales, and that could well act as the trigger for some very heavy showers, possibly some thunderstorms. That's the precipitation forecast for Monday, showing that particularly for England and Wales, particularly central and eastern parts of England, we have got risk of some heavy rain and thunder coming through. That takes us through to Tuesday, when we find that again heavy showers or thunderstorms are possibly becoming quite widespread there across many parts of the country. That's Wednesday. We've actually got an area of low pressure in the North Sea on Wednesday, so that might bring some longer spells of thundery rain and cooler temperatures too to the eastern part of the country. Generally quite a showery scenario going on there. And then it's going to the second half of next week. Well, maybe the low pressure of the thundery low eases away and we get this little bit of a build of high pressure coming back in from the Atlantic. So possibly turning drier through the second half of next week. So let's go back to there. Possibly going drier through the second half of next week. As we get to day 10, that's how we look. A little bit of an extension of a ridge across England and Wales, but more low pressure is out to the north and the west. That takes a very similar track and situation as going to extended range to what we've got coming up in the next few days. Eventually, we do go into quite an unsettled pattern towards the end of this particular GFS run, with the wind going into the north and west. So it does look a little bit more changeable compared to what we've had recently, most definitely. The next week to 10 days, that next couple of weeks, looking more changeable. We're not talking about a washout here, but we're just talking about a generally more changeable scenario, more in way of showers and thunderstorms through the early part of next week. ECMWF looks like that. So again, that's Sunday, hot across England and Wales, low pressure out to the north and west. Monday to Tuesday takes that trough down across the country, acting as the trigger to produce a chance of some very heavy showers or thunderstorms indeed. That trough is still there, particularly across England and Wales on Wednesday. And then we go through into the second half of next week. Unlike the 6 o'clock run of the GFS, which is building that little bit of a ridge up through the second half of next week, the ECM is actually bringing this area of low pressure in from the Atlantic. So it remains quite changeable throughout the whole of next week with the ECMWF. And as this low pressure slinks down across the country from Friday to Saturday, that's Saturday 21st of July, we're possibly looking at longer spells of rain and cooler temperatures moving in from off the Atlantic. That's how we finish up at day 10. So low pressure is to our east. We're pulling down these north to northwesterly winds. That's a lot cooler, a lot fresher, and also there's showers or longer spells of rain, particularly so in the east. So the east area is changeable throughout the whole of the run this morning. And then finally we've got the GEM. So again, we have this ridge extending into the south from the Azores. High low pressure is out to the north and the west. The early part of next week looks showery, potentially thundery, especially so for England and Wales. And just generally keeping things quite unsettled throughout next week. Low pressure is close to the country, so at the very least there's showers here. Possibly by Friday, for example, maybe some longer spells of rain coming into the west. That's how we're looking as we go up to day 10. So by then, low pressure is centred just to our southwest. So that's very unstable. There's lots of heavy showers, probably thunderstorms, but it is very warm as well. We're dragging up the air from southern climes, so the upper air temperatures are really hot there at day 10, but it's explosively hot because with that low pressure down to the southwest, there will be tremendous thunderstorms and no doubt copious amounts of torrential rain with hot and humid air. So it's all getting rather lively, I have to say. We have had a prolonged run of dry and hot weather, warm to hot weather. Temperature's going to be holding up over next week, 10 days. There's no problem from a temperature point of view. But the patterns here are looking more and more unsettled. So I do think we could well be, with the temperatures holding up and so much energy within the atmosphere, we could well be looking at some really quite big showers, thunderstorms, downpours, maybe some torrential rain for some of us coming up through the course of next week. And obviously, the local detail on that, because as ever with showers and storms, there will be localised differences. So as ever with that, we won't know until much closer to the time frame who's going to get the showers, where the showers and storms will be. But it looks generally focused more for England and Wales, I have to say, less so for Scotland and Northern Ireland. So quite an interesting outlook. Could be some pretty volatile weather on the way. Right, later on today, we'll have a look at this weekend's festivals and events. The first update for those, I think it's on Monday night, so I'll have another update for those festivals and events coming up tonight. Tomorrow, we'll have a regular week to 10 day look ahead, as always, and we'll also have JMA Friday, and that will take us well into August. But that's all for now, and thanks for watching.